How can a room full of intelligent leaders make a disastrous decision? It sounds impossible until you realize intelligence doesn't fail, group dynamics do. In 1961, the United States approved a covert military operation known as the Bay of Pigs invasion. The plan? Sent Cuban exiles to overthrow Fidel Castro. The room was filled with some of the brightest minds, military strategists, intelligence experts, and advisors to President John F. Kennedy. On paper, everything seemed calculated, but in reality, the mission was deeply flawed. Poor intelligence, unrealistic assumptions, and no solid backup plan. It failed disastrously. And later, many insiders admitted something unsettling. They had doubts, but nobody spoke up. This is called groupthink, a psychological phenomenon where the desire for harmony in a group becomes stronger than the desire to make the right decision. Instead of critical thinking, you get silent agreement. Here is what happens inside such rooms. Suppression of dissent. People hold back objections to avoid conflict. Pressure to agree. Disagreement feels like disloyalty. Illusion of unanimity. Silence is mistaken for consent. And underneath of all this, two powerful forces operate. Fear of speaking up, what if I'm wrong? And social pressure. Everyone else seems to agree, maybe I should too. So even the smartest individuals start making collectively poor decisions. This doesn't happen in war. It happens in offices. A flawed strategy gets approved because no one wants to challenge the boss. It happens in social circles. A group grows along with the bad decision because no one wants to be that person. Even in everyday life, we silence our instinct to stay accepted. The real mark of leadership isn't just intelligence. It is creating a space where disagreement is safe, where questions are welcomed, not punished. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can say in a room full of agreement is, I don't think this is right. Independent thinking is not rebellion, it's responsibility. And the courage to disagree might be the one thing standing between a smart decision and a historic mistake. What if ordinary people are convinced to harm others just because someone in power tells them to? No criminals, no monsters, just normal people like you and me. In the 1960s, psychologist Stanley Milgram conducted one of the most disturbing experiments in history at Yale University. Participants were told they were a part of a learning study. Their role? To act as a teacher and give electric shocks to a learner every time he gave a wrong answer. The shocks started small at 15 volts. But with every mistake, the voltage increased. 30, 75, 150, 300 volts. What the participants didn't know, the learner was an actor. The screams were fake, but to them, it felt real. As the voltage increased, the learner began to scream in pain. He begged to be released. At one point, he went completely. The participants were visibly shaken. They sweated, they trembled, some even laughed nervously, trying to cope. Many turned to the experimenter and said, I don't want to continue. But the authority figure calmly responded, the experiment requires that you continue.
Experiment, that's all. Get me out of here. Get me out of here, please.
Continue, please. Go right on.
I refuse to go on. Let me out.
You refuse to go on? The experiment requires you continue, teacher. Please continue.
And shockingly, most of them did. About 65% of the participants went all the way, delivering what they believe were dangerous, even fatal shocks. Not because they were cruel, but because they were told to. This is the power of obedience to authority. When someone in the position of power gives orders, we tend to comply, even against our own moral compass. Why? Because responsibility feels shifted. It's not me, I'm just following orders. And this is called the diffusion of responsibility. And combined with authority pressure, it can override empathy, judgment, even humanity. This isn't just a lab experiment. From war crimes to toxic workplaces, history has shown us again and again. Ordinary people can do extraordinary harm when they stop questioning authority. The real danger isn't evil people, it's unquestioning obedience. So here is the question you need to ask yourself. If you were in that room hearing those screams, would you have stopped or would you have obeyed? And if you enjoy exploring the psychology behind the human behavior, don't forget to subscribe for more videos.